Hello fellow YouTubers, this is Dragonzilla here with another figure review, and today's review will be the Papo Dimetrodon. And to those who don't know what a Dimetrodon is, a Dimetrodon was a early form of mammal-like reptile that lived during the Permian period. It didn't live all the way throughout the Permian, only in the early Permian, like the early years. So it lived between 290 to 270 million years ago, millions of years before the dinosaurs evolved. The name Dimetrodon means two measures of teeth, and it is the icon of the Permian period. Onto the model itself. Now, this figure came out in 2013, around about the same time as the Papo woolly rhino, and it is the only Papo Permian monster out of the Papo line so far. And out of all the Dimetrodon models that I have seen, I think the Papo one is by far the best, because it's very lifelike, and this is what the creature probably would have looked like in life. The paintwork is excellent, although it is unclear what colour Dimetrodon was. Well, actually, it's like that with most prehistoric creatures. We don't know what the colours were. We can only speculate by looking at living animals. Now, Dimetrodon's main feature is the huge sail on its back, and there are many theories on how Dimetrodon used this item. One theory says that it used it to collect heat from the rays of the sun. Another theory suggests that it could have been used for attracting a mate. And I think at one point it was believed that Dimetrodon might have been a water creature, and it was most likely used for swimming, though I cannot picture this guy as a water creature. I think it's more closely linked to the land. But nevertheless, the sail is nicely sculpted and very lifelike indeed. The head is also nicely sculpted and has a menacing look to it. Now, anyone who owns this figure will know that the jaw has articulation, so you can have the option of Dimetrodon with its mouth open or closed. And once the jaw is shut, the figure looks completely different. And it kinda gives the impression of Dimetrodon like sniffing around its area, like sniffing out prey, such as its vegetarian cousin, Edaphosaurus. I like the tail, it's nice and long. You know, on some models before this one, the tails on some Dimetrodon figures were actually quite short, and they didn't look right at all. And here is what the figure looks like from above. And apart from the sail, Dimetrodon has a lizard-like look. Now, there is a huge problem, but it's nothing to do with this figure. The figure is fine. It's the speculation around Dimetrodon. Now, Dimetrodon is often believed to be a dinosaur, and that is due to all the figure sets, books, and television shows and films relating to dinosaurs. And Dimetrodon wasn't a dinosaur at all. It was a synapsid, aka a mammal-like reptile, which means it was the ancestor of the mammals. Now, seeing it in this group of prehistoric mammals, you'd think it would stick out like a sore thumb, but no, this is actually correct. It fits in with the crowd, because Dimetrodon and all mammal-like reptiles of the Permian were the ancestors of all mammals, including us. And just for the sake of it, this is what Dimetrodon looks like with some other giant reptiles that lived at the same time as the dinosaurs, which themselves have also been mistaken for dinosaurs. Since we're bringing out some other figures, how about we get on to some size comparisons? Okay, so here is the Dimetrodon with another mammal-like reptile, the Gorgonopsid inostransevia. And the size in here looks a little bit off. I mean, there were some smaller members of the Gorgonopsid species, but Inostransevia looks more like one of the larger types. So to me, this is a little bit off. And apart from the sail, Gorgonopsid was bigger than Dimetrodon. So here's the Dimetrodon with Megatherium, the giant ground sloth. And the sizing, once again, is inaccurate. Because Megatherium, although it lived millions of years after Dimetrodon, it wasn't called the giant ground sloth for nothing. It really was a giant, and scaling here is severely off. But if this figure was standing up on its hind legs, then the size in here would be perfect. Still inaccurate, but perfect at the same time. And here is the Papo Dimetrodon with the Schleich Dragon Runner. And the size in here looks pretty good. I mean, I suspect dragons are bigger than Dimetrodon anyways, depending what kind. But up against the Dragon Runner here, this looks pretty good. So overall, what are my final thoughts on this figure? Yes, it's another very nice figure. Again, well done, Papo. Great job. There is nothing wrong with this figure at all. Nothing that I don't like about it. The paint job, sculpt, and pose are excellent, and so's the articulation. When I was talking about the jaw earlier, I forgot to mention that even though you have the option of having it open or closed, I like the jaw to be open because it makes Dimetrodon look more menacing and it looks more fierce. So I give this figure a 5 out of 5. And in 4 months' time, it'll be Christmas. And if your kids are asking for a prehistoric reptile that isn't a dinosaur, definitely get the Papo Dimetrodon, because it's totally worth it. Alright, that's all from me today, folks, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.